Hey everybody, Taylor Braun here with String Theory. In this episode, I'm going to show you how to create this abstract scene in Blender Eevee. So let's delete the default lamp and camera here. We're going to keep the cube. We're going to add another cube. And I'm going to add a particle setting here. New, select hair, and then we're going to render it out as objects. Use the cube here as the instance object. Let's add a bevel to this. More segments here. And we're going to change the scale here, something like 0.01. And change the random size as well. Change the scale a little bit higher actually. Okay. And then we're going to lower the number here, something like 250. That's much better. Okay. And now we are going to convert this and delete this original cube here. And the cube right here. I'm going to add new material to this. Let's give it a green. And add some lights here. Increase the power, something like 1000. Add some context shadows. And lower the roughness here. Now, the second object we'll be creating will be a cube here. And we're going to go back into viewport shading. And we're going to add a subdivision surface modifier to this. Choose simple to retain the cube shape. Ramp up the subdivision something like 5. And add a displacement modifier. Click new. Then click the little icon over here to reach the texture tab. Choose clouds for the type. And change the size here. Make it look really bad. And then add a remesh modifier, which will fix that. Choose blocks for the mode. And we can see that the strength here will define how much of the original cube is retained. And then we're going to add a build modifier. And change the start point a little bit earlier. This just creates a cross section into this cube. But as we can see that this is paper thin in certain areas, let's add a solidify modifier. But now, even if we have even thickness on, it's not flat anymore in these where the extrusion is happening. What we need to do is add a second remesh. Turn off remove disconnected pieces, and choose blocks. And then we're going to move this right here. Scale it up. Move it down. Render this out. We're going to add a camera here. Control Alt Numpad 0. And I'm going to move this out a little bit. And maybe even up after locking the camera to view. Like so. And then I'm going to add a new material to this outside object. Shader editor. Click new. Turn on the node wrangler add-on. I'm going to add a wireframe node. Press Control Shift left click to view the node. And as we can see, this is kind of boring. It's very much the same all the way around. So what we can do is just add a decimate modifier to give it some more variation. And lower the ratio. And now we can see that, see those end gods happening, which makes it much more interesting. Okay, let's plug this into the base color for now. Render this out. Let's lower the roughness here as well. Let's add this green color, copying the hex for the wireframe. Much better. I like that a lot. Okay. And we can also plug a texture into the size here. So let's just add a Voronoi texture here. View the node and press Ctrl T to add a texture setup. Change the distance metric to Chebyshev and use the object coordinate. And change the future output to third closest. And then add a color ramp right here. Choose a constant so that it's crisp. Then plug this into the size here. Now this is way too large of a texture for the size here. So what we can do is add a mixRGB. Plug this into the factor. And use two value nodes to define the limits. 0.02 will be our highest for now. And 0.001 will be our smallest. Let's do 0.01 for the highest, the smallest, and 0.05 for the highest. I like that a lot. We can always change the scale here as well, something like 2.5. And that is looking great. Let's add a background here. Adding a gradient here. Go into the World tab. And press Ctrl T on this gradient here. And move this over like that. And rotate this gradient here. Move it down. And then we will copy the background here. Choose black for the color. And let's grab a mix shader. Plug this into the top socket. And add a light path node so that we see a gradient, but what's really happening to this object is that it's only seeing the black background, plus the area lights. Okay. Now let's add some color to this gradient here. Let's grab a mixRGB, plug it right here, and make the second color black. And I'm going to copy the green color here from the object material. Grab the hex, go into the world shader, and copy the hex. And I'm going to desaturate this just a tad. And change the hue so that it's on. Somewhere in there was good. Okay. And then we can always add one more cube. Shift A, cube, scale it up, and add a new material. Let's give it a glass by pressing G. Lower the roughness and turn on screen space refraction. Turn it on here as well. And add bevel to this as well. Go to the object material. Change the IOR. And we can always scale this down and make it only on the cubes inside. And we can always increase the value here, something like 2. And always change the color as well to whatever we want. Okay. And that's how you create this abstract scene in Blender Eevee.